Hello, my name is Anjani, and I'm talking about Saturn and Uranus today. And not from the perspective of Saturn in the sky and Uranus in the sky, but from the perspective of what that energy relates to in our physical body. So Saturn would be that heavy, grounded iron weight of our physical body, the actual structure that makes up our body, our ancestry line, our lineage, the rules of our culture, everything that has to do with our structure and form being built, and also its government, the way that our physical structure is governed. So if you are not governing your own physical structure, there will be a government for it's going to be set up in one way or another. So this is what Saturn represents. We have this within us, and because of where we are in our society and in the world, we're born into these it's a, you are a structure within a bigger structure. So whenever you're able to really be your government, like have your own governing system working within your body, you're fine within the bigger structure. But if you don't have that, you don't have your Saturn complex rooted into your system and you work with it, then the outside structures will run you. They have to, because you have to run in some sort of a way. And this force is, in astrology, we call it Saturn. The next one I'm going to talk about is Uranus. So Uranus would be, some notes that I took, your own unique humanity, the creative spark. Like brain synapses, you sometimes stand alone. Breaks free from ancestral structure to uphold the continuous rebirthing of individuality. So Uranus is sort of like the really good story that I like is of Prometheus. Prometheus stole fire from the gods to bring it to humans. Then humans are with fire, we're able to have light, illuminate the darkness. We're able to cook food, and then on, heating up coals and making motors and all these things. So that's the Uranus principle, who's able to break free from that Saturn structure to, here's one of my favorite Uranus guys. And then the other one is Nikola Tesla, who's able to be individual, go reach out into the cosmos, pull down some of that magical technology of, let's call it cosmic technology, meditation, being able to get into this alternate state that's, I'm reaching up because Uranus is sort of like, it's considered to be an upper world initiator. So, and then being able to bring that into the physical body and into this realm that we all live in, called, Earth, the world. So I have this chart here, and this person has Saturn opposing Uranus. So anybody born within this time, so this was in 1965. Anybody born around that time frame, this is actually March 1965. So they will have that built in within them, where they are like revolutionary, and also it's kind of like, I'm thinking of one of my friend's dads who in the 60s, he was like a total hippie, and then he turns into this super pin, or I don't know the word, a square, and gets very anti-hippie, but he was totally hippie. And so these people born in 1965 kind of have this duality within them to be going between the ancestral rules, the lineage, how we're supposed to do it, and the other side of like being Prometheus and taking the most unusual thing that is heavenly type of energy or technology based. Heavenly and technology, the reason those go together in my mind is that it's a realm that you don't see, that people have said it's there, you know, from doing meditations, people who go into this transcendental state. It's light and it's like a brain synapse. So being able to go there and also be down here and then still go back up there and still be down here, that's a real gift. And to not get stuck in either one of them and being able to go back and forth. So I read a chart for somebody yesterday who I hope he watches this video, because that's part of a phase that he's in. So if you have in the outer, so in the center is your astrology, it's not yours, but when you print out your astrology chart, here's you, or here's the planet Earth, and the X is representing you the moment you're born. Here's a map of the sky the moment you were born, and then out here in the outer circle is where all the planets are today. So here is Uranus in Aries. For this person, Uranus is going over his Mercury and Vesta. And then you would want to see, since we're talking about Uranus and Saturn, or cosmic consciousness and lineage, ancestry, roots, you would want to see where Saturn is. So Saturn's up here in Sagittarius. So you can see that he's having a little activation from both of those. And so see where those are for you on your chart. The person that I read yesterday is in a initiation cycle with both of those things. So being able to go deep into your own physical body, have that very felt, like getting into the underworld of your body, which I call the underbelly. It's deep in you, and connecting to your roots, imagining your body growing roots down into the earth, and then deeper and deeper, connecting with your lineage, your ancestry, and then being able to run that energy up through your body, up through the crown of your head, and then connecting with everything you perceive to be above, connecting with cosmic consciousness, getting into that state of the opposite of being in your body. It's where you're completely disembodied. And you can see there's a problem with this. If people just get disembodied, and one of my girlfriends and I would talk about these two guys, that they were the wizards, and they were like these space astronauts who would love to get all cosmic and then come back and be like, oh, nothing exists, everything is whatever, you know. And we're like, yes, this is there, but also being able to stream that into your physical body, and also connecting down to your ancestry, bringing all this energy together within your own physical body. So I want to talk about also, because I'm using this chart because of an experience that I had, and I'm opening up the can of worms of Chiron today also. So I've been talking about Chiron a little bit. In 2016, I did a lot of work. I did a couple of live classes and in-person classes and classes on the internet. And then I let that go and moved on to some other things. But I want to retouch on that, because there is, what I've been focusing on now is intimacy with yourself and in partnerships, and sort of getting connected with your style of love, sexuality, and intimacy. Where are you with that? Because I feel like that piece is really on the center stage right now because of all the issues with gender and women's rights, and men feeling this certain way and women feeling this certain way. So, you know, getting really whole and complete within yourself, and finding all the ways that you already are balanced between masculine and feminine, and honoring yourself for your own feminine, masculine energy, and being able to honor and respect other people for their unique way that they express feminine and masculine energy. You have to understand that it's not, I'm looking around for a book, because this book is really good. I'll just show you here. This book is really great. It's got a lot of ceremonies and rituals to do, Sacred Woman. But it's like women should be like this. You know, wear a dress, and, you know, women are like flowers, men are like trees. And this idea and this way of working around women and men is done. And you know, what I said from this was like, I feel like a tree with flowers on it. I don't feel like I'm just a little delicate flower that's not true. So this has really been what I'm passionate about. And I'll do, you know, that's probably going to be the whole next year at least of what I'm talking about. But bringing in Chiron into this, because Chiron has been known as the wounded healer. Chiron is so much more than a wounded healer. Chiron is that piece of us that is eroticism and ecstatic and pain and pleasure. And it's a combination, to me, the way that I feel into Chiron is a combination of what we know of Pisces, of what we know of Scorpio, what we know of Pluto, and also it's got its own unique thing, because when I say a combination of Pisces, Scorpio, and Pluto, it's because it is that intangible. It has to do with the electricity in our body and the way that energy in our body moves throughout the physical body, and also makes things happen in the world outside of our own body. So it's magical. It's sort of, the erotic piece comes in where, you know, when, okay, maybe you don't know, I'll just have to say it because it's coming up. When you're in that moment of, you know, you're connecting with somebody and you don't know if he likes you or she likes you, and you know, and then you sort of like get closer, and there's this like feeling, there's like, it's a tangible energy that comes up. And especially if it's not right, you know, if it's like somebody else's partner, or you're in a you know what I mean? You're in a relationship, you think you're cheating, or you're, you know, doing something that you're not supposed to do, but it feels so right and so good. And you know, you lean toward going where your desire is taking you. That energy that's created from that, that's sort of like the Chiron experience. So Chiron, when Chiron moves through the chart, whatever area of your chart Chiron is hitting, brings that up and makes it, it can be exquisitely painful and also exquisitely pleasurable, because there's no real separation. That's one pole, pleasure, pain. And Chiron has been known as the wounded healer because we notice more when something is painful, and we'll want to really go into it and talk about it. Artists draw it and write about it, and psychotherapists get paid for that. And then the pleasure piece, nobody really wants to share that so much. So there'll be some songs about it, kind of, but they don't really get into the depth of what that is, like really explaining what's happening. And I'm sure there are a few, but it's not as prevalent as when we're talking about the pain part of it. So that's why I feel like Chiron has been mostly talked about from the pain part, because people are more apt to go into that and want to work it and fix it and make it better. And the pleasure piece is just sort of like, yeah, that happened. And maybe it didn't even happen because of the fact that we're not fully able to go into the fullness of our pain without having to, like, you know, go get a psychotherapist and find someone to help get you out of it as soon as possible. That alone will impede our ability to get fully into the pleasure. Because if you can't fully be in your pain, you are not going to be able to be fully in your pleasure. So therefore, you may not even know the depth of this polarity between, now speaking pleasure, pain is the pole between Taurus and Scorpio. That energy of full disembodied music and sex and money, that Scorpio where it's just, there's nothing, it's not bodied. And then Taurus on the other end, where it's fully bringing all the energy into the body and experiencing embodiment. So this is that polarity. So if you're not able to fully go on either end, you're not fully living. That's not living all the way. So sticking with Chiron, because I'm going to make another video about that in just in a minute. So going back to Chiron. So when Chiron moves through your chart, I'm going to use this last little segment of what I want to talk about here. So Chiron is in Pisces, going to be out by February 2018. For this person, he has Chiron going over his Mars, checking up on what does it mean to be a man? Not necessarily a man, how do I run my masculine energy? Since this person is a man, I feel confident saying that the way that he embodies his masculine energy, the way that he embodies the God. Oh, that's Venus. Wow. Okay. So that makes more sense to me now. So Venus, Chiron is going over his Venus, which is how do I embody the goddess? How do I perceive women? How do I receive women? And what is my sort of relationship with the goddess energy? Goddess energy here, and also its representation as the female embodiment of the goddess. How is my relationship with women, basically, and how do I move that energy in my own body? So that other thing here is that he just had his Chiron return. I didn't check when it was, but it wasn't very long ago because Chiron is just there in Pisces. On his natal chart, he has Chiron opposing Mars, which would say that all the time he has this with his inner masculine. There's always this eroticism, wounded, painful, pleasurable, psychic, magical intimacy in his reality in opposition to Mars. So this is like a highly, very different form of the masculine than what we are used to, because he has Mars in Virgo, which makes him like the priest, caring about the earth, the sacred timings, being like a steward of the earth, in service to spirit through taking care of the earth and the inhabitants of the earth. So that gives him already a different sort of masculine energy. But then you put Chiron here, and it's like brings in all those other things I've talked about with Chiron. What I also wanted to mention is that his Mars is sandwiched between the underworld, Pluto, and Uranus, which is considered an upper world initiator. It's like the cause a disturbance thing. So Pluto, underworld; Uranus, upper world. Pluto wanting us to be fully in our power, deep, intense, going into the cave and being that, coming out of the cave and still representing cave energy for humanity, for everybody on earth, because it's in the sign of Virgo. And then Uranus on the other side of that makes his form of the masculine be very connected with the cosmic consciousness, very much like Steve Jobs and Nikola Tesla. So putting that all together on his masculine and then bringing that in opposition to Chiron makes this a very electrifying, deep and intense, cosmically conscious type of masculine energy. So working with intimacy, working with sexuality and the way that you relate, because those things are not for just relationships. Of course, they will make you more attractive and they will make you more like reliable and responsible for in relationship to other people. But the main benefit is that you yourself feel these things. So whenever I meet somebody, I go and I'm so happy. Hi, it's so good to see you. And I'm fully in the moment and I'm present with them. Whatever experience that we have is so beautiful and present, and it's right here. And then when I get ready to leave, I give a hug and I'm like, okay, thank you so much. That was amazing. And when I leave, I literally and energetically cut all of my ties and connections. I'm clear, and in my mind, it's like I have this, like, I may never see this person again. and it's like I close it. And I do that with my comings and goings with everybody, even my own kids. It's like, okay. And so when I say goodbye, I fully like, I love you so much, you know, and it's real. Because I am fully connected to my physical body, and I'm fully connected to my intuition and my roots. I'm fully here. And so they leave, we part ways, and I go about my business fully present in the next thing that I'm doing. And so if I do see the person again, which thankfully for my kids, I do see them again. I always see them again so far. And I am so happy to see them. It's real, and they can feel it. So my relationships are beautiful and strong and magnetic, and it's very alive. So this workbook that I've created called The Alchemy of Intimacy, Love and Sexuality Workbook. There's 13 weeks worth of exercises and materials to go through and things to do to cultivate this intimacy within yourself and sexuality and love. And it's like working from all these angles. And there's a little bit about money in there, because I feel like money is tied up in that creativity and the spark, and it's related to, especially when you're married, that definitely comes into the conversation and energetically comes up. So when you're doing that work, you will change, and your perspective will change, and your relationships will change. So I highly recommend getting that. It's 40% off. There's no reason why everybody can't get the workbook. Check the link. I'll put a little link down there. I hope that you enjoyed the video, learned something new, had a little entertainment, got curious about things on your own chart. And if you have any questions, I always answer, because I'm not so busy that I can't answer my messages. I really, really love hearing what my YouTube comments are, because this is where I feel like there's more people who are really, really wanting to know more about themselves. And I love astrology, and I love people, and please ask any questions and I will answer you. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.